Okay, LEDs are fairly bright. This is with studio lights on, by the way. This is impressive, because if I turn off the studio lights just so you guys can see. This is the Kronos. The Kronos is gonna be a 60% keyboard. It's gonna be on uni keys, but it's gonna start at 240 USD. It is basically a polycarbonate O-ring mounted keyboard. So if you've been after a polycarbonate O-ring mounted keyboard, this might be it. 17.4 millimeter front height. It's manufactured by DDS. A 6.8 degree typing angle. Pretty cool. And it is a WinKey layout too, which is awesome. It comes with a gummy O-ring. It comes with only a 50A, which is fine. I think personally, out of all the experiences I've had with O-rings, I still think I prefer 70. And it has a Gondo PCB, which is awesome. And then you can buy either solderable or hot swap. I actually don't know which one we got today. This is going to be a sponsor stream because Unikeys is one of our sponsors. And I am giving back this board just in case anyone asks. Yeah, I mean, dude, to be fair, Lane, I really think this is heavily Moon Tower inspired by all the photos I've seen. The weight's different for sure, but I even think this side profile is definitely a little bit inspired. We'll take a closer look today. I'm pretty positive this is all in stock. Cool. Actually, I know what I want to put on this for a keycap set. It kind of looks purple tinted, I agree, but maybe it's just the regular schmegular one. I believe this is also a prototype. I did get told this was used already, so there might be some hand-holding scratches on this, but actually it looks pretty damn clean. I don't see anything. We have standard bump on feet, which is, I like bump on feet personally. The lovely weight where it kind of goes through, but just gives you this little moon, Saturn type thing. And then, you know what, for a side profile, I wouldn't say this is actually super Moon Tower inspired. Moon Tower has a bit of an arch. I'm guessing to get this cost down a little bit, it is just straight. It's your standard wedge, pretty simple. It's a one-piece design with a brass weight. In stock 240 is not too bad for this. Purple was to combat any anti-yellowing over time from UV rays. That would make sense. We have our daughter board, and then we have our PCB. This is a solderable PCB. So 240, and then you add 35 for the PCB. What they should do is they should make one page with everything so people don't get confused. That would be a very, very big thing for them to do, because that almost confused me right now. And it shouldn't be called keyboard kit. It should just be called keyboard. That's a little deceiving. I will mention that to them because the word kit usually entails everything. So a little confusing. I'll mention that to them because it should be called keyboard case or just like kit. Like they should have somewhere where it says PCB not included on the very top. Oh, here, it does have in a very small hyperlink. Please click this link to add PCBs. But that could also be interpreted as like an add-on. So yeah, I will say that. So it'll be $275, which I think that takes it a little bit higher than I was hoping this to be for an in-stock unit here for a one-piece polycarb design. However, I know DDS is kind of expensive. Hold on, are they not giving you the plate either, or do you have to buy the plate separately as well? Is the plate separate from the PCB? Because then that would make it almost $310. Yeah, I would have loved to see this at like the most I would have loved to see this is like $280. Alu plate comes with it, no plate either. Hold on, what comes with this? So the plate comes with it. So okay, a plate comes with it, but then you have to buy a PCB separately. I feel like, okay, here's where I feel like this confusion's coming in right now. You're right, kit contents, aluminum switch plate. So it's still $275. We're right, it starts at $275 then. Where I think Unikeys needs to take this and just completely fix this whole thing. This whole thing could be avoided and all this confusion could be gone if they put the PCB on the same page, which I'm pretty positive they can do if they're using Shopify. Put everything on one page to not confuse people. Which, by the way, guys, in case you guys don't know, this is something that like should be part of the critique here. I know this has nothing to do with the product itself, but how something's being sold could also cause problems. So I do think this should be completely rectified and at least just clarified in what you're actually getting here. But yeah, I would prefer if they were to add something where it's like case only, you know, or aluminum plate and case only. Threaded inserts for the daughter board. Let's check. No, doesn't look like there's threaded inserts for that, nor is there threaded inserts for the weight. Now, I will say, again, just to hold it to the standard of every other polycarbonate board I've ever looked at, it's not super crazy important to put it on the daughter board. I agree, people can argue with me. I think it's important to put it on the weight. Now, will you be opening this over and over and over and over again? Well, not even opening. Will you be taking out these parts? The answer is probably not. So these are probably parts that are very low impact, and if they're already in, You won't ever need to do it again. In this day and age, any polycarbonate keyboard, anything, should have helixes or threaded inserts at any point where there's screws contacting it. I also like the screen print on this. This is nice. You're going to be using some vintage switches. I modded these. Keepscape, do you get a hard shell case with this, or is this just something you had lying around? Comes with the case? Oh damn, that's real nice. For $275, case included. All right, I'm happy with that. That makes me feel a lot better. This might not work. It doesn't look like this made it through transit here. Unfortunate, sometimes it happens. It was well packed too. All right, it still turns on and everything, so we're fine. It just seemed to be the plastic got lifted or something and kind of broke. How many LEDs do we have? We actually have a fair amount of LEDs, considering this is going to be a board that you're going to want some good RGB going on for the underglow. So there is a fair amount of LEDs on this, which is good to see too. In case anyone's kind of wondering. So we're going to still try to assemble it like this. If I need to adjust this piece, if it's making contact with the bottom of the case, again, not reflective of what this board should be, so give me a moment while I try to repair that. I'm going to try not having to repair it first and see if it does get affected. But let's put our daughter board in here. Again, I would have loved to see some threaded inserts for this. We should be fine. Now, I actually want to use GMK Boba Fett because I finally got that set. This looks really good already. Let's see what this looks like when I plug it in. Make sure it's all working too. Okay, LEDs are fairly bright. This is with studio lights on, by the way. This is impressive because if I turn off the studio lights just so you guys can see. Okay, so the LEDs are really nice on this. I'm unsure if this is full brightness. I want to make the assumption it is. All right, that's a good sign. And the diffusion on it's really nice. I love this set. I don't know why it took me so long to finally pull the trigger on this. All right, do we like this? To me, this looks sweet right now. Well, I want to take this off the desk here. I wish I had the JSON file for this. Maybe we can change the RGB to something else, but you know what? Like, I really like the way this looks so far with this set. I think my experience with it so far, I mean, it's a very simple build. I love the way it looks. The quality's there. It's a DDS manufacturer, so like the polycarb I've seen from DDS is usually pretty damn good. I think the only criticism I could possibly give the actual board itself, like the physical board, is the lack of threaded inserts on the polycarbonate. Now again, maybe a bit divisive because they are not parts that you're going to swap out very often. So it is what it is. But I still think it's worth criticizing instead of sweeping it under the rug. And then I really don't like the way that Unikeys, and I love Unikeys by the way. So for me to say this is with love. I really don't like the way their website's laid out for this. I think it needs to be a bit better. Well, not even a bit. It just needs to be more well formatted to make sure that people understand they're not getting a PCB with the kit and you have to buy that separately on a different web page. Let's see what this sounds like with cherries. They're vintage cherries, so expect some scratch in this. Little HJ test. I mean, this is exactly what I was expecting out of this. I wouldn't say it's super quiet. Maybe not compared to some of the other boards with like, you know, beefier aluminum, but this is exactly what I was thinking this is going to sound. I mean, I'm happy with it. This is exactly what I was expecting sound signature wise. If you guys haven't used an O-ring mounting style before, this feels just as good as every other O-ring. It doesn't feel better, it doesn't feel worse, it feels exactly the same. I think personally I would want a 70A, so that might be something I need to buy separately. But for the 50A, it's fine. It's a little bit soft, it's a little bit firm. It absorbs all the impact nicely. It sounds just like every other O-ring build, which is, again, I think ideal. Why reinvent the wheel? It's fully polycarbonate with some good RGB. The diffusion on it's pretty nice. You're not going to get the diffusion though when you flip it over. You're going to see hot spots for LEDs, but I mean, how often are you going to do that? Sounds good though. It does sound really, really good. I would have loved to see this kit be a little bit cheaper. I'm not angry at $275. I think that's a decent price point still. Again, considering polycarbonate, like good polycarbonate, I've seen really bad stuff. I'm just happy this is really good quality polycarb. Gondo PCB, I love Gondo. Gondo does really good work and has been doing great work for a long time in this community, so the PCB is solid. Unikeys, great vendor. I've had no problems with them at all. They're fantastic. So We have a decent vendor, or a good vendor with this board. And then we have Keepscape, who helped with this board to design this board. And I think he had some help for some other people. But I think this is a fantastic little pickup. If you guys wanted a 60% polycarb O-ring board, I have confidence in this. I'd recommend this. Bye-bye, everybody.